Hello, I'm Chandler,
And I'm Celeste.
and this is
True North Terror. Oh, that was pretty good.
Yeah, that was all right.
We're getting it. Okay. Today I'm doing the second deadliest tornado in Canada.
Whoa.
Have you seen the OG Twister movie?
Yeah, the
Okay.
cows.
Yeah. Have you seen the new one?
No,
What?
we haven't watched it yet. It's on our list. So, Lexi's sister. Why didn't I get set up before we started? Lexi's sister is like deathly afraid of Twisters, like the first one.
Yeah.
So we were meaning to go and watch it, like trick her into going to see the new one.
Oh.
But then we just got too busy to go and see it. And then we ended up seeing other movies and it wasn't in theaters anymore. So it's on our list, but we have not watched it yet.
It's really good. That's like, I don't really like going to the movie theater because I get really grossed out.
That's fair.
Me and Owen went to go see it because like I really wanted to go see it. That was like one of my favorite movies as a kid. I remember watching it for the first time in a hotel with my mom, and it was like we took this little tiny VHS TV with us to the hotel so that we could watch like whatever movies we wanted. And we always brought Twister and Star Wars.
Nice.
Yeah. So
Do you remember, was it Disney or Universal that had the ride?
What ride? The Twister ride?
The Twister ride.
Oh, I've never heard of that. That sounds
We
like
went on it.
we went on it.
Yeah. 100%. When we went to Orlando, we
I
went
feel
on
like
a
that would
Twister
be
ride.
Universal.
I think so. It wouldn't have been Disney.
I don't remember that at all.
We did. There's cows in it. That's what I remember.
Oh.
There's cows on the ride.
Of course, that's all you remember.
It's a cow farm.
I remember the Jaws ride.
That one was cool.
Yeah. But yeah, like I have always had like a fascination with twisters, tornadoes. So yeah, I definitely wanted to cover one.
Fair.
And I also just love natural disasters because I think Mother Nature likes to really remind us that like fuck around and find out.
Yeah.
And no matter how powerful we think we are, Mother Nature is much more powerful, and it really doesn't take much for her to do a lot of damage. So I really like natural disaster stories. And yeah, if it's not your cup of tea, that's fine. But it's my cup of tea and it's my podcast. So here we are.
Acquired taste.
Yeah.
That's all right.
Well, you know what? It's gruesome, okay? It's still going to be interesting. Okay. The sky is green in Edmonton, Alberta on July 31st, 1987. It's been a strange week of weather as a low pressure system traveled over southern British Columbia, sending warm and humid air into central Alberta. Daytime temperatures were hitting high 30s and thunderstorms were roaring. 300 millimeters of rain had fallen in the region, which led to local river waters to rise by 8 meters. 300 millimeters of rain.
That's a lot of rain.
That is crazy. In the 5 days leading up to July 31st, there were 12 reported tornadoes in Alberta, ranging from F0 to F2, some tornadoes producing golf ball-sized hail.
Gross.
For any of our non-Canadian listeners, Edmonton, Alberta is the capital of Alberta and was established as a city in 1904. Before Edmonton was a booming city, it was inhabited by First Nations people and was a historic site for Métis. By 1795, many trading posts were established and the area became Fort Edmonton. In 1987, at the time of the tornado, the population was approximately 571,000 people. The population now sits at almost 6 million people.
1.6?
Yeah, like 1.58 now.
Oh, yeah.
1.almost 6? That's crazy. There's like a million more people there than 1987. That wasn't that long ago.
No.
I don't math, so like, but it was not long ago. Like 40 years ago?
5.
What's the math here? There's no 13 or 25 involved
Yeah.
in this equation. Yes.
Plus 13 is 2000.
Okay.
Plus 25. So that's 38 years ago.
Yeah, there you go. You got
Boom.
there.
We're there.
We're there.
We're there.
Edmonton is located in central Alberta, surrounded by prairies and the Rocky Mountains. The morning of July 31st, alerts were issued for potential of thunderstorms. At 1:40, the alerts were upgraded to severe weather warning. The air felt heavy, and the sky was green and the clouds were dark. There was an ominous feeling, but no one could have predicted the complete devastation to come. The first report came from Tom Taylor, a local pharmacist who is also a weather spotter, who was getting ready for work and observed the storm from his home and described it as the belly of the cloud slumped down and it spit out a huge funnel, much larger. It was dense. You couldn't see through it.
Whoa.
Just before 3 p.m., he called into the weather office. As he continued to watch, he described seeing buildings exploding and the tornado growing. At the time, tornado warnings were based mostly on sightings. Local radio stations and TV stations started broadcasting the warning at approximately 3:04, but it would later be discovered that only 2 out of 18 radio stations even received the warning to broadcast, and only 1 out of 4 local TV stations.
Yeah.
And even if all of them broadcasted the warning, you would have to be actively listening to hear it.
Yeah.
Like, it's
It's
not
not like today when you get the
yeah,
on
yeah.
your phone.
Which, like, thank
Rip
you so
headphone
much for
users.
the freaking like beeping, but also it's also not super reliable because
No.
like if like me and Owen were in a restaurant and we both got the warning and some other people in the restaurant did, but like less than half, I would say,
Yeah.
actually their phones went off. So it's like I don't think it's very reliable because I
No.
think it's based off of
It's based off of where your phone
Ye-
pings on a tower
I
or
thought
something.
I don't think so.
I thought it was something about that.
I don't think that it's based off. Well, maybe.
I thought it was based off your phone's current location.
Yeah. So then why doesn't it work for everyone?
I don't know. Because I was going to say there's that stabbing at U of M
Oh
a
yeah.
couple, like maybe a year ago now, when like half the students got an alert that there was a person with a knife
Yeah.
and half of them didn't.
Yeah, it's so weird.
It's wild.
It's so
Oof.
weird, yeah.
Scary.
Anyways,
And then
I
it
don't
just
know how it
doesn't
works.
stop.
I know. Yeah,
You'll
yeah.
clear it. You'll clear it. Bing, 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 bing. I'm like, oh my! I know.
I know. The night
I
the night that we were at the restaurant, we went home and Owen was getting it like every 2 minutes for like
Jeez.
hours, and mine just went off like 1 or 2 times.
That's wild.
Yeah, they really did not want him to perish in this
No,
tornado that I don't even think it happened.
didn't even touch down.
Yeah. Before we get into the story of the second deadliest tornado in Canadian history and the largest natural disaster to ever hit Edmonton, Alberta, I just want to give some context on tornadoes. Coming from Manitoba, we really aren't super educated on tornadoes as as we previously just discussed. The enhanced EF scale was introduced in 2007 to classify tornadoes based on wind speed. The original scale was developed in 1971. An EF0 tornado has a speed of 105 to 136 kilometers, and its typical damage is peeling the surface off some roofs and damages to like gutters or siding. An EF1 is 138 to 177 kilometers and severely strips roofs, mobile homes can be overturned, exterior doors can be ripped off, and glass such as windows can be broken. And EF2 has wind speeds of 178 to 217 kilometers. Roof can be completely torn off, and well-constructed homes and foundations can be shifted, and mobile homes are completely destroyed.
Whoa.
EF3 has wind speeds of 218 to 265 kilometers and can damage large buildings such as malls and destroy entire stories of well-constructed homes. An EF4 is 267 to 321 kilometers, and well-constructed homes and whole family or whole frame homes can be completely leveled. And anything over 320 kilometers is an EF5, and homes are just completely swept away. At approximately 3:30, the tornado hit a southwest residential area called Mill Woods, just south of the city, starting as being recorded at F2 but growing up to F3 in strength and producing 10 centimeter in diameter hailstones. That's huge.
Those are giant.
Yeah. The residents of Millwoods watched in awe and horror as a broad, dark funnel twists and turned from the sky and touches the ground. The tornado briefly disappeared, but it's kind of like a phenomenon during tornadoes. I'm not even going to try to understand the science of this, but it had actually became translucent and had not actually dissipated. So they're like, oh, it's gone, but it actually wasn't gone.
What?
I guess it was like kind of like how people say they're in like the eye of it or whatever.
Yeah.
The residents let their guard down when it suddenly showed itself again. Residents ran inside, grabbing video cameras to record the historic event from windows and doorways. The most famous recording of this event comes from Millwoods and is the first recording of multiple vortexes. As the tornado ravages through Millwoods, it caused severe damage on 30 homes with wind and baseball-sized hail, but no lives were lost. The fire department dug out 20 victims from damaged structures and destroyed vehicles. It is now just after 3:30 as the tornado travels to an industrial area called Refinery Row, growing in strength where it reached its peak vicious strength of F4. Bark is literally peeled from trees, gravel is picked up from roads and is traveling through the air like bullets. Cars are mangled, homes are picked up and destroyed, and the tornado claims its first 12 victims. The hail is getting bigger and more intense. The sky is getting darker. A 12-year-old boy, Peter, and his sister were sitting in the back seat of their auntie's car as they made their way across the city. The rain is coming down super hard and they cannot see through the windshield. All of a sudden, the traffic comes to a full stop. Peter looks out his window as the hail crashes furiously on the car and he sees large pieces of lumber being tossed through the air. Outside the car sounds like a jumbo jet is flying right outside as the wind howls furiously. They don't know it, but they're vulnerable ducks sitting directly in the path of the tornado.
Jeez.
Suddenly, the car starts to pull backwards. Peter turns to look out the rear window and sees a yellow Civic with a woman still behind the wheel being picked up by the tornado. John Marzoff was working for Computalog Gearhart when they heard the chaos and the destruction of the tornado approaching. They gathered into the wash bay and watched as it ripped transformers from poles. Everyone scattered as the wind sucked the air out of the bay, collapsing a cinder wall. John held onto an A-frame crane while he watched the roof move up and down over 3 feet. Firefighters and brave citizens arrived to the scene to find what they described as a war zone. Cars have been thrown from parking lots and are littered all over. Half a building is completely gone. It looks like a bomb has gone off. Gas lines leak. Power lines are down and scattered. Machinery is tossed about. Firefighters find a man who is pinned under a beam, but by the time they reach him, he is completely under rainwater and has drowned. Another man, a cab driver, is found dead, completely buried in rubble. Another man is found still sitting in his truck, impaled by a 2x4.
Oh.
Tragically, another man dies as a piece of heavy machinery falls on him. Another man dies from debris being blown through his head. An off-duty firefighter finds a man with his forehead completely gone, exposing his brain. Yeah. Like, told you, gruesome. Meanwhile, dozens of train cars are blown off of a CN train and just littered about. At approximately 4 p.m., the tornado continues to move and grow in strength towards a community called Clairview. The tiny little body of a 3-month-old Cody lays in his crib. His mother, Mary, runs to him to find his entire bedroom, including his crib, is completely gone, ripped away by the tornado. Mary runs frantically throughout the house, even though it is the middle of the day, the sky is dark. She runs to her room and is mortified to see how little of it there is left, but she spots Cody's tiny little feet sticking from under her bed. He is bleeding, but miraculously he is alive.
Oh.
Like, that's crazy.
Yeah.
3 months old? Good Lord.
Yikes.
Cody receives care and somehow he is found to be healthy, except for some cuts and bruises and a slight skull fracture, which is like incredible for a 3-month-old baby.
3
like
months?
They don't even have skulls basically at
Yeah,
that
just
point.
like mush.
Yeah. Many homes are left untouched, including Mary's next door neighbor, whereas others are completely destroyed. The wife of Ken, an employee at the Alberta Disaster Service, was hiding in the basement after receiving a call from Ken warning her of the storm. She heard her home being completely ripped apart above her. When she emerges all upstairs, all she can see is sky. Her roof is completely gone. She was one of the lucky ones. Some homes were completely gone, walls and all. Lastly, as it continues to move northeast, the tornado hits Evergreen Mobile Home Park Court at approximately 4 p.m. With 1,700 unsuspecting residents, the tornado was about to claim its largest victim toll. People are finishing up their workday, and children are enjoying activities at their community hall. Chico Balmer, the property manager, is sitting in his office when he notices the phone lines are down. His residence is attached to the community office building, so he tries the phone at home thinking like maybe it's just his office phone on the fritz.
Yeah.
He looked out his window, and to his horror, he sees the tornado fiercely bounding towards them.
Oh boy.
He runs to the activity leaders and tells them to run to the basement of the office building, which is the only basement in the entire park. As he corrals the final children, he looks out to see homes being tossed through the air. As the final children shelter into the basement, the tornado hits the office. Chico, the children, and the leaders shelter in the basement for 10 minutes as the tornado rips through the park. When Chico and his staff emerge, they cannot believe the complete devastation of what they see. Homes are flattened, others have been crushed and imploded. He hears screams coming from every direction as people scream and cry for help under debris. Chico finds a little boy, Troy, who was blown from a window. His arm is badly mangled, and he rushes him to a local clinic where they are able to save his arm despite extensive damage.
Wow.
In another home, Nancy and her 2-year-old son, Aaron, were tossed 30 meters in the air. Aaron was ripped from Nancy's arms, and when Nancy finally woke up, she heard the ceiling creaking and walls completely crumbled and fallen around her. She is buried under piles of furniture, and as her breath finally returns, she realizes Aaron is no longer in her arms. She starts to frantically scream for him, and finally she hears his tiny little voice call out for her, saying, "Mommy, Mommy, I am cold.
Ugh.
Get me out of here."
Oof.
She panics and bursts into tears. Buried in furniture, she cannot move or get to him. She frantically moves her arms, trying to reach for him in the area she could hear his tiny little voice. Finally, she feels his blanket still wrapped around him and pulls him closer. She cannot move as neighbors hear her pleading. A stranger comes and carries Aaron out, and another returns for Nancy, picking her up as another woman wraps her own shirt around her badly cut leg, making a makeshift tourniquet. She has a broken pelvis and a large cut on her leg. Somehow, tiny Aaron is left with only bruises and scratches.
Jeez, this kid's lucky.
I know, like
The kids are lucky so far.
I know, but you
I mean,
just
I'm sure
know that
there's-
mom like sheltered her child.
Well, for sure.
Meanwhile, baby Kristen's mother, Monique, digs herself out of rubble and mud of her parents' home, desperately searching for her 1-week daughter. 1 week
1
old.
week.
Yeah.
Huh?
Yeah. Baby Kristen was being held by her grandfather when the tornado hit. Miraculously, a stranger found baby Kristen 1,000 meters from the home.
1,000.
Yeah. Bill
Huh?
Clark. Yes. 1 week old.
A kilometer away from their house.
Maybe it's 100 meters. Anyway, she's found far away.
That's insane.
I may put an extra zero there because I'm missing a
Even
space.
100 meters is like, that's far.
Yeah, little 1 week old baby.
That's far for a baby to go.
Yeah. Bill Clark is the first policeman on site and is handed baby Kristen. He looks down at her and the devastation around them. He evacuates 4 injured adults and holds Kristen on his lap as he rushes them to the Royal Alexandria Hospital, frequently pulling at her arms and legs to make sure she's still alive. Wrapped in a blanket, she's only 6 pounds. A week later, Monique would be reunited with her baby. In the hospital, Kristen suffered from brain swelling and damaged lungs, but was released after 2 weeks, and she was later known as the Miracle Baby.
Wow.
Which, fair.
Yeah.
Definitely a miracle.
Earned that name.
Mm-hmm.
Holy.
My drink is sour. Back at Evergreen Community, members used their hands and a single backhoe to try to find survivors buried under the rubble and endless debris. A Dutchman in his 80s pulled people from debris and rubble and said the scene reminded him of when Holland was bombed. Nearly 8 hours after the tornado hit, neighbors found Tyler, a 2-month-old who was ripped from his mother's arm, buried under 300 meters of rubble. Miraculously, he also survived, despite critical injuries, including a severed spinal cord.
Whoa.
Yeah. At the local pizza restaurant, a temporary morgue was set up to identify victims. A woman named Arlene Reimer was at work when the tornado ripped through the mobile home, but her husband Marvin and 3 children, Diane, who was 13, and her 2 11-year-old twins, Darcy and Darwin, were at home. Tragically, she learned that none of them survived, so her whole family was dead. If it had only been 1 day later, none of them would have been home, as they were due to leave after her shift for holidays. So, like, just literally an hour away from leaving for a vacation. Another woman, Kelly Pansell, died protecting her baby, holding her close to her chest and sheltering her with her own body. 15 people were killed in Evergreen and 200 homes were completely destroyed. The tornado continued to move, but eventually evaporated, leaving behind a path of total destruction and broken families. The winds of the tornado were described as a freight train reaching up to 418 kilometers an hour. It was over 1.3 kilometers wide at its largest point.
Massive.
Like, sir, that is crazy.
So fast. So
and
big.
so huge. Like,
what?
You wouldn't even, I can't.
That's like unimaginable to me.
I know. I'm like, how big is a kilometer?
Real big.
That's insane. That's just crazy.
Real big for a thing.
Yeah.
You know? Like driving a kilometer, not a big deal.
But like, how are you to get out of the way of that?
You just don't.
Like, that's just crazy.
At 400 kilometers an hour?
Yeah.
Winds? That's... Oof.
That's insane.
Wowzers.
I can't even wrap my head around it. It traveled nearly 31 kilometers. Its total fatality toll was 27, but over 300 people were injured and over 300 homes were annihilated, leaving over 700 families homeless. Witnesses remember several naked victims as their clothes were torn away, wrapping their children in sleeping bags and heavy blankets under staircases, feeling their bodies being sandblasted as they sheltered. Not only was this a devastating event, but it was also a unique one. This tornado was exceptionally slow moving, lasting up to 2 hours. The same storm cell produced 7 tornadoes on the same day. This caused confusion on where the tornado was heading, with people unaware that there was actually more than one. It also produced flash flooding and huge chunks of hail. This was a horrific event that has a lasting legacy. It left Canada wondering how we could improve radar, warnings, and emergency management. The Alberta Emergency Alert was designed and broke through broadcast to alert the public, instead of waiting for the networks to independently report. It is also one of the main reasons Canada installed Doppler weather radars across the country. It caused over $762 million of damage in today's currency.
Today's monies.
Yeah, today's dollars. The unbroken spirit of the citizens earned Edmonton the name of City of Champions. And since we know nothing about tornadoes, if you find yourself in danger of a tornado, seek shelter immediately. Ideal shelter is an interior room with no windows or basements. Use a mattress or heavy blanket to cover yourself from flying debris. Stay away from all windows, doors, and exterior walls. Protect your head and your neck. And if you are caught outside, find a low area such as a ditch or ravine and lay flat, covering your head or neck. Do not shelter under an overpass. And if you've seen the new Twister movie, iconic opening scene.
Overpass?
Yeah.
Interesting.
It is also wise to have an emergency kit in your shelter place in your home, including basic first aid, food, a flashlight, and a battery-powered radio, because you do not know how long you will be stuck. First of all,
what can you do to prevent?
Prevent what? Tornadoes?
Nothing.
No.
Right?
No.
If it's coming, it's coming.
Yeah, it's Mother Nature.
Damn. And then fuck. You can't mitigate property damage because it's just gonna go.
No,
Like, you can't lead it. Can you lead them?
lead them.
Like, make them go
Oh, no.
where you want them to, kind of?
Tornadoes, no. No, it's Mother
Like, it's not like
Nature.
a
She
forest
does what
fire
she
where they, like,
wants.
control burn and...
Oh, no.
No. There's nothing they can... It just goes.
Yeah.
That's crazy.
I think that's part of why tornadoes are so fascinating, because, like, with fires, you can do controlled burns. With
Flooding, you can,
you can build dams
sandbag.
and stuff like that, sandbag. But tornadoes, like, there is nothing
Good
you can
luck.
do. Yeah. Yeah.
How
Crazy
often are
story.
tornadoes in Edmonton?
I don't know.
Not like... I'm sure they have little twisters every now and again.
I think that, like, Saskatchewan, for Canada, anyways, like, that's where I always see reports of tornadoes happening, but
Hmm.
I don't really know.
Shit, that's wild.
Yeah, it's a crazy story, and it's just crazy, like, how many children were completely, like, there was something watching over those babies
Yeah,
because...
holy... That's like movie level stuff.
Yeah, and I didn't put it in the story, but when that police officer took that little baby Kristen to the hospital, that was the first time that anyone even knew that, like, there was such catastrophic damage, because no one could call for help.
Oh shit.
All the
All the
phone lines
phone
and
lines are
everything were
down.
down. So, like,
Oh
all of this
no.
happened and no one
No
even
one
knew.
knew. No one was preparing in the hospital. Like,
Yeah.
oh
And, like,
man.
there was no one going to help them. Like, I guess this police officer just kind of
Was around.
was around. Yeah, and so he went, he's like, "Holy shit." So he started to help, but, like, there was no way for them to call for help. So then he
Wow.
got to the hospital and they're like, "Oh, we need many hands."
Yes.
Like,
All hands on deck.
yeah.
That's craziness.
But it is pretty cool that that is why we do have
Doppler radars and
Doppler, and
stuff.
why we have, like, even sometimes, like, I mean, I don't really watch, like, TV anymore, but if you're, like, watching TV and all of a sudden, like, that little alert pops up on the bottom of the TV and it's like severe weather warning or whatever,
Yeah.
that, like, that's this tornado is why we
Huh.
even have that.
That's crazy.
Yeah. Yeah, pretty interesting.
Like, I don't know. I complain about wind speeds a lot at work when I'm on a roof.
Oh, that's fair.
But, like, that's beyond.
I know, I cannot imagine
I can...
400-kilometer winds.
Oh. Because what are you going to do? Stay spooky, True Northers.
Terror is closer than you think.
Wow.
Bye.
See you later.
Thank you for joining us for another episode of True North Terror. If you like our podcast, please help us grow by leaving a rating and review. If you have a story you want us to hear, or your own personal story you want to hear on the pod as a listener story, email us at truenorthterrorpod@gmail.com. Join us next week for another episode of True North Terror.